everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the new studio. Welcome to a whole new experience. Thank you for being here and making it part of your night. We're not doing a real one. I don't know if this will be for Overdose members or what this will be for, but stay tuned and we'll see how it goes. What I would like to do, I think a good way to test everything here and how it works and how it's going would be to do like a little bit of a Ty Rivera watch. We've kind of kept our eyes off this motherfucker for a little bit, and he's believe it or not, he's mixing it up with other podcasts. So that should be something we should look into. I just want to say this. Thank you so much for, I can't believe everybody just rushed right in. We didn't even put this up on social media or anything. So thank you all for being so thirsty. And for the subs we've already gotten today, thank you so much. I was fixing to go get Taco Bell. Do I have time to go before the show starts, or should I just microwave some chicken nuggets and stand by? Can't you listen in your car? Isn't that like the beauty of like why we do mobile and everything? Just listen in your car as you fucking go get Taco Bell. Pull it. Don't you have one of those? Who doesn't have one of those things for their car where they're putting up the you put your phone up in it, it charges it while you do your stuff. Thanks for being here, everyone. We do have new PodSafe music. I hope you like the new intro song for fuck around shows. We were doing the Magic Sword song, and I kept getting flagged for that. Also, I don't want to be sponsored by Ubiquity anymore. I feel like they're fucking up. I think it's all hack. I don't know. We're gonna have to like I'll have to get a whole new sponsor. Does Twitch work on mobile? How neat. Intro is chill. Yeah, thanks. I had some guy compose it. I like to throw money to small businesses and really support the people. That's what I'm all about. But yeah, we're sinking in here. It's all new. I don't know how this sounds, and we definitely have to work it out. This mic arm, the tension isn't right. It's already annoying me. New mic arms from the Blue Corporation. New desk. First time with a new podcast desk since 2010, since we went to LA. So that's big and fun. We got all new cables, all new mics. Everything was so old. These mics, I think they were 14 years old. New cameras. We got all the mirrorless, all the cool stuff the kids are doing on the streams. I don't know what it is, but basically, I'm broke now, and Compressor blew before the show. Newest desk set since the one with the stalactites. Oh, Moody, I think it was the first time I've gotten a new chair since 2014. I think Moody took me out. He was embarrassed by my chair, and he took me out and he bought me a new chair as like a present for staying with me. And yeah, so new chair, new studio. We have room in here for more people. The way I have the room configured now, pretty much everything on this side of the room is temporary. Everything you can't see is temporary. Just to give you another angle of what we got over here. So like Stream Deck, PC stuff, Broadcast Center, some controls and some rack stuff down here that we're handling. But new desk, all new stuff. Oh, explosion, that's great. And yeah, excited about it. It should be good. I think we have another angle. Boom. If you want to get multiple angles of the new studio. So when we have some people in here, you'll see the other areas. But right now, everything is kind of just really thrown together because I don't want to bolt anything down until we feel how it's going to be used in the space. It's hard to It's hard to know where you want lights, where you want cameras, where you want everything until you use the space a little bit. So we'll figure it out. Let's do it together. We'll work great. Thank you if you think it looks great. And I know we've been off for a month and a half, so I appreciate your patience with that. But I literally just really got into it, man. I got out in the garage. I was doing some woodworking. I built everything in here myself. I did the logo cutouts, mounting it, putting the lights on it, all this stuff. I don't know. I don't even know how that looks on camera, but yeah, we got a faux wood wall that all the kids are doing, backlit, and we can do effects on that, different colors and patterns and all this stuff. It'll look cool. I think it'll look nice. This side of the room, we got curtains going across, artwork on the wall. This side of the room, and I don't know how much around you can even see over this way. This side is just all the logo, foam paneling on the walls. Over here we have more foam paneling on the walls all the way until it gets over to the curtains, and then curtains over here until it gets over back around to the wood planks. I built this studio. You know, you get a little better at doing this every time you go through it. And I built this one with the Patrick, you have the shoulders of blueberry cereal. I don't know what that means. I look like a where the wild things are. Don't think that I think I look good. I have completely stopped taking care of myself. Other podcasts are going to see your new setup and get FOMO. What is FOMO? Oh, fear of missing. I see what you did. You did a whole. Good to have you back. Thank you. Anyway, listen. Oh, I should have recorded this, huh? Twitch has got it. We got a lot to talk about. I got a lot of things to say. Obviously, a lot has gone down since our last show. Last time I spoke to you guys collectively, I think as a group, was December 14th. So it's been a fucking minute. Oh, a $25 tip. God damn. You guys are great. Listen, none of the sound effects are even working in here. None of the lighting effects are working in here. Nothing is put together. But thank you for that. That is, believe me, I'm more poor than you know. Because of all, like I probably spent almost 10 grand revamping some shit in here, but a lot of it needed to go. You know how you just hold on to old shit and you just keep and don't get me wrong, it's fine. Like if you want to know the truth, like this camera is a Logitech C920 webcam that I had in Florida. And it looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Like if I came on here and just did the show like this, it looks pretty good. And you could even argue that it looks better than that one, which is a 4K camera. It's broadcasting out to you in 1020 because, you know, frankly, I can't afford the Bing width. But I don't know. Some cameras are worth holding on to. There's no reason to get rid of a good webcam that works. Send in your pool designs. Patrick is, you know, I'm into this house and I'm so balls deep into this house with money. Who knows if I'll even be able to afford a pool. I might have to get one of those kiddie pools that white trash moms get their children to play in the goddamn backyard just to leave them alone so they can smoke weed and get a handy from a guy they met at the bar. You know what your mom's up to. Okay. But yeah, still no haircut. And just have let myself go. I've been eating anything that would have me. And today I started the no carbs thing back hard. February 1st. Jump into it. Does voice come across a bit odd to anyone else? Almost like pixelated behind his voice. Let me see. I can take these effects off. How does that work? Is that any better? Pixelated? Here's the thing. I'm running it through. Yeah, I don't like that actually. I like this a little bit. Is that better? Here's the thing. I'm running it through my compressor blue before the show, which gives it the sound that you're used to. It's kind of worse. This is worse. Why would you bring that up? Which one's better? Which one's better? Should I go back or is this voice better? You guys are fucking... I can't, you know. You tell me. I guess we'll just wait for the delay. You guys will fucking figure it out. In other news, go back, everybody's saying. Oh, no. Both are plonked? Yeah, here's the thing. So my compressor blew. I think it's overmodulated, maybe. Perhaps is what's going on. I'm looking at the waveform, and it seems to be peaking. But I don't know where it would be doing that. So... that'll be a project for another girl to do. It's better on the second. Both are plonked. Get the fuck out of here, dads. But that's what this is for. Don't worry, I'll go back and listen to it, and we'll get it figured out. But my compressor did blow, so I am missing a whole piece of equipment in the processing chain of the sound you're used to. So there is probably some stuff. I routed it around what's broken to hopefully fix it later on, but I don't know. Get a guitar pedal. Get the fuck out of here. I don't need your recommendations for what I should do. How can I get my... all right. Yeah, I'll have to listen to it. I do see some clipping. I do... it's not... I don't know where the clipping is occurring, so I'm going to have to find that on the chain. Maybe we bring it down here a little bit. How about that? Is that better? I'm literally running... What you're hearing is going through a fucking headphone amp, which I never would do normally. But that's the way I'm having to get it into the system for now. So let's fucking deal with it. Guys, Ty Rivera. He's doing it again. He's mixing it up online. And believe it or not, he is mixing it up with a podcast. Tell us a story. 571 views. So this has popped for him. This is a big one. And what happened is Ty got into a fight with another podcast. And they invited him on to do a podcast. Now, one thing you're going to notice right away when we dive into this, look at what... Do my effects work at all? Look at what... Oh, wow, cool. Look at what he's doing with his stream. Look familiar? So this is what he's done. We all know. We all fucking know. He never, not once, ever had any kind of colored lighting or anything on the wall. We were watching this fucking dork for years with his blank white walls, his sad grandma-like accessories strewn around his what I can only imagine is college-level housing. You know, it's wood paneling on the walls. So we know what kind of aesthetic we're dealing with. I love a gay guy who acts cocky, even though he has nothing to act cocky about. And if you like a gay guy who acts like that, you're going to love this show. So, yeah, he's gone full color since we last saw him. That doesn't, unfortunately, fix his eye droop. Oh, did we get a sub? Queen Marmalade. Thanks for the sub. Hope he kept the Glade air freshener. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a cute little setup he's got here. That's fucking nice. You know, and I like that. I like a podcast setup that says, hey, when I'm done with this show, I'll be taking all this stuff, putting it into a drawer so we can have our dining table back. That lets you know he's a real serious comic who does this for kind of a pro living. So basically, just a little backstory. So, well, and he'll explain it. He'll tell you like what's going down. But he gets invited to go on another podcast, I guess, somehow through Facebook. He goes on it, and you know these two guys start just going after him for being a Trump supporter. Now, don't fully 100% agree with the two guys that are talking. There are some dumb points. Also, like, the fact that you're trying to have a political argument with somebody is retarded. in my book, but whatever. He does it, he tries to do that. And then what do we get? We get a heated Ty. You have never seen Ty like you're about to see Ty. Strap the fuck in, okay? And if you're YouTube and you're watching this is all fair use. I have to do this now. I have to do all this fucking gay. And by gay, I don't mean, stupid. I mean homosexual stuff. That's the only way you can use the word. So I have to say it means homosexual. Stuff now because of the bannings. And by the way, I will put this out there. If anyone knows, I don't know, I don't know enough and I haven't researched it enough to know how to do this. But how do you set up your own YouTube, your own streaming solution? I would like an end-to-end streaming solution. I imagine it can be done with some kind of fucking AWS service. And we can either have a free stream and a paid stream. For Overdose members, we can do private streams. If anyone knows how to do this, and I don't want to do it through a third party, because we will be kicked off. Restream does it. Oh, what? I don't know what the fuck that means. But if you really know, please get in touch with me privately. We don't need to do it here. I am going, there's no doubt in my mind I will be off air this year. The way shit is going, holy shit. Get ready for a dystopian future, the likes of which you've never seen. And I've got theories on it all, and I'll tell you where the world's going. Just stay tuned. We're not going to get into it tonight, but oh my God. Let's start getting our credits for the arc. Ladies and gentlemen, Ty Rivera. I'll just let Ty and Ty's words, as they say down in the kids.
It's my birthday, and it's time to get unbothered.
Everything bothers him.
Fuck yeah.
He's unbothered.
He calls it unbothered, but that's what's cute because everything bothers him. He's bothered. I'm a botherina.
Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. BU is currently enjoying a Whimsy's Alligator, Whimsy's Alligators, the never-to-be sponsor of Unbothered by Ty Rivera, but we still give them a shout-out anyway, and if you would like to buy Whimsy's Alligators for your dog, check down below
Who doesn't?
in the description box. You will see my Amazon affiliates link for Whimsy's Alligators. Okay, so what you just saw were the comedic stylings of a person named Shang X Forbes on Facebook. If you're interested in getting a little bit more of that genius, maybe. I don't blame you. It's a lot to take in. I can't give you as much as I would like to give you on this particular episode, but you're going to get plenty. So here's what happened. On or about the day of January.
I'm letting him set this up because there's no point.
I was tagged in a post by my friend Tiffany L. Davis. Apparently, Shang was looking for a guest for his podcast or some guest for his podcast. I hadn't heard of his podcast. I know Shang. I've known him casually for years now.
Yeah.
I don't think too much of his comedy and never have. But I always have respected his hustle. He works hard to get booked, and he's been able to get booked a lot off very little. And I don't mean to be shady when I say that, but just...
It's not shady. And by the way...
That was him editing that, or he paid
the ego on Ty... and I can't flip over to my camera right now because I'm trying to set something up for you. But the ego on Ty, to think and I don't want to get called out for calling somebody out, but it needs to be said. And it's no one thinks you're good. So you calling somebody out is just a joke in and of itself. The fact that Ty Rivera's calling someone out doesn't really do shit. You know what I mean? In the big picture of shit. So, and I'm sorry that my little thumbnail is blending in down here in the corner. Somebody copied someone else. So that's what we got.
What he does. So that gives you an idea of, in general, what's going on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, One time when we were backstage at the Laugh Factory in San Manuel, which if you're not familiar is kind of San Bernardino area, kind of ghetto, but it paid well, and I like to do
Bitch, if you're performing there, it's ghetto. We know.
it because I would usually have fun there. It was never a guaranteed good time, though, but it was a Laugh Factory room, and I was a Laugh Factory regular. Laugh Factory was my home club for a long time.
It wasn't. It was not.
He was the host at
It was not. That is not true. He claims to have lived in Hollywood for like 15 fucking years, okay? I'm letting you know right now. I was there for 5. I knew everybody who was fucking anybody. You guys know it. They were on the fucking show when I was out there. Nobody knew this guy. Only when I came to Vegas and played clubs, people had heard of this Ty Rivera guy. Let me tell you where Ty Rivera works. Arizona, New Mexico, perhaps, Vegas, and some shitty places in LA. Yeah, it was the middle of nowhere, and it was a shithole, but I paid good money. Good money is $75. I've watched this guy yell and drive across town for $25. Okay? Might have been pesos.
one point, and this was back when Trump won, 2016. And we were talking backstage, and he started to get really loud with me. And there was a point where I just told him, that's not necessary. If you're trying to have a conversation with me, have a conversation with me. But don't try to get loud, because we're both grown men. And
I love people who have like a This is par for the course when it comes to what we've heard about from Ty. He's all about people knowing his communication protocols, and you have to communicate with him exactly as he likes to be communicated with. If you're going to come on my page and comment, you need to know to do this. And it's like, I don't. That is an unrealistic expectation of the populace. Like, if you want to have a conversation with me, you got to know you can't get loud. And it's like, that's not how communication works. Look at that little sourpuss.
It's unnecessary. He immediately apologized. I'm not saying I punked him out, because that's not the way it went.
It's not the way it went.
When it comes down to it, Shang was raised right. He knows how to behave like an adult. And that's what I respected about him, was he was able to see that, yeah, he was, because, it wasn't regular heated debate. Like, it got to a point where he started trying to yell and talk at me like I was a child. And that's when I was like, yeah, you're not doing that. And so he went ahead and adjusted himself, and I respected that. I always respect when people
That's not what happened.
Maybe they were going a little bit far, and I wasn't tripping off of it. So when I got hit up and a friend had said, Tiffany L. Davis had shown, suggested me, I commented on the post, and I was like, yeah, I'll do your podcast.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Gave me a couple dates that might work. I gave him a date, out of those that worked for me. We ended up making
a date that works for me.
Ahead of time if there was a format to the podcast, or if it was just me and him talking,
Woo!
or him and a co-host. He said it was him and a co-host. He didn't say anything about a format. I didn't even know the name of the podcast. So people afterwards...
Ty is talking about you so hard right now.
AF, which, if you're not familiar, means savage as fuck. If you weren't expecting for them to go at you like that. And it was like, I didn't even know the name of the podcast. I didn't know anything about the podcast.
So this is what, and we've seen this from this fucking guy before. This is what he does. He says... When he wants to fucking get you, he pretends he's never heard of you. That's his big get. Like, who's this Patrick Melton guy? I've never even heard of him. Then I proceed to post photos of us on stage, literally like in a huddle taking a photo together. Literally like on posters coming next week, Ty Rivera, where I'm headlining the week before or after. Clubs all over. You've seen this. You liar. You're either a liar or you're fucking retarded. So which one is it? And I'll give you the choice, one or either of those. But you either are not, you don't pay attention to the world around you, and you're fucking retarded if you don't know who I am. And number 2, And that's not a pompous thing. That's because we work the same clubs. We've been in the same city. We've done several of the same shows fucking together. Liar, and you know about it. So you coming in hot, and being like, I don't even know this guy. I never even heard of Shang. Liar. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. And don't get me wrong. I don't know the name of Shang's podcast either. But it's not an insult. That's not an insult. There are 5 million podcasts right now, I almost said something I shouldn't say. The point is, I don't know the name of right around most of them. So you not knowing the name of someone's podcast, that's not really a fucking got 'em to me. There's some fucking a guy on NPR with a goddamn podcast that I don't know the name of. That doesn't mean he's less successful than me, you stupid idiot. It means I'm uninformed. Don't get it twisted, Ty.
Maybe I didn't do my due diligence in figuring out more about the podcast, but I figured when he said there was no format, that there's no format. We're just going to chat.
And I'm telling you, I would pay footage to anyone who can get me the footage of the 7 minutes after his podcast ends and he runs around putting all the lights and props into a drawer until the next podcast day. Like if I went around here just prying all this down, like, I got to get this back set up for my grandma. This is where she sleeps. Look at his house. Anyone podcasting in their living room. I'll tell you what's real sad. Anyone podcasting in their living room or their room. And sorry, Kool-Aid, I find it disgusting. Not a place for you. Anywhere where you sleep or jerk off shouldn't be potted from.
Gonna be cool.
You can't tell somebody how it is in a chair you've jerked in.
One thing I didn't like that was unprofessional was they were supposed to send me topics and they didn't send me the topics, and so I asked them a couple.
You're
of
doing
times
their
about topics,
podcast.
and then
They're
they went ahead and
supposed
sent
to
me a message saying that we're going to talk about bitch McConnell, which I always hate when people like Hillary or the different stupid names people have. 45. Whatever. I just always think those are so childish, but whatever. I didn't care. I was still down to do the podcast. We were supposed to talk for 15 minutes and it ended up being...
I don't pod from my bed, brah. I'm going to, I don't like to start shit with Kool-Aid, but I'll tell you this. You say, I don't pod from my bed, brah. I may be mistaken. I am 41 years old, so I'm getting very, very fucking old. Did you or did you not actually start a podcast from your bed? I have a vague memory of you doing a nighttime Alex Ansel podcast from your bed, literally from your bed, every episode. That was the show and the theme of it. So you I don't pod from bed, brah, when that's exactly wrong? Not a video one? I don't know if you're familiar with this, but podcasts weren't video, usually. Cuddle time with Alex Ansel. Right. I don't pod from bed, bro, except for the podcast I started in bed specifically for that purpose. Lies. See, everybody's full of them, guys. Stick with me. I'll point you the ways.
Closer to an hour. So we're going to go through the podcast and I'm going to tell you guys what I wanted to say throughout it, and you guys will see what's going on and kind of why this whole situation got on my nerves. So let's jump into it.
So Shang, I'm gonna let you introduce this.
So I got a couple of things we're going to jump right into about the set of this podcast. So first of all, he's taken his podcasting game up a notch. He's improved the background of his show. Okay, he's got some lighting now. It looks like this looks like a guy who does podcasts. No. This is a guy who's sitting at his dining room table and has bought a My Light and plugged it in and connected it to a smart thing. He's also got some editing done in this video, which is great. And my favorite thing about it is the whole time he's clowning on this other podcast, you'll see right here, right down here, a ticker going across asking you to donate to Shang and this guy for their podcast. So the whole time he's making fun of it, right down here where I'm pointing, you'll see a ticker going across with Shang's Venmo and PayPal, which is just fucking just great, you know. I love a guy who knows enough about video to know that he needs to edit it, but not have any thoughts or skill beyond that. And enough guts to just get in and do it. So that's my shit. Let's have a little go.
I wasn't sure this was going to go down today, and it is. So
on the guy on the right,
let you go ahead and introduce it and bring it.
Yeah, well, we got a comedian,
Black
that tours
Pedro,
all over the country. He just came back from Vegas doing a show,
and this is Shang being nice. I don't know Shang. I know Shang just as much as I know Ty. I see him around at shows. We've chatted a little bit here and there, and we've done shows together. He's a funny comic. As far as I can remember, this dude's been headlining and stuff all over the place. Ty doesn't headline everywhere he fucking goes. And Ty certainly doesn't work all over the country. So I don't know what that, this is just something you say. Clubs and colleges, guys. Clubs and colleges.
He does shows all over the country and very opinionated. I remember one time he told me that.
I will say this, Shang. Shang has this scrolling across for his PayPal at the bottom. It's like packbell.net. Are you on pacificbell.net for email in 2021? I can't even believe that works. Like, really? Pac Bell? All right. And we got Black Pedro, who I don't know at all. I've never met Black Pedro or run into Black Pedro, but the enemy of my enemy is my enemy. Am I right?
I was the most hated man in L.A. for making a comment about Big Leslie.
I'm going to stop him right there. I never knew he got into it with Big Leslie. I got into it with Big Leslie. When you hear me jumping on the podcast, I thought he was talking about me and Big Leslie. That's why my story doesn't match up with what he was talking about. What I told him that...
Imagine giving a fuck. Imagine giving a fuck about what Shang did with Big Leslie or what Ty did with Big Leslie. Imagine giving a fuck about any of it, really.
What it was he had gotten
no one cares.
Didn't deserve them, and he referred
nobody
to them
is
as interested. Put that in several different comedy boards, and the different comedy communities really dragged him. So he knew everybody hated him.
He
so
knew
I don't know what he was talking about. Like, people were just giving him the
he knew
nobody and that kind of stuff, and they really put him through it. And I gotta admit, I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, like, I didn't care. I wasn't mad, but he had called out Quincy Jones, comedian Quincy Jones, who got a special because he had cancer. And then there was Gerard Carmichael that he called out, who Gerard didn't have any kind of sickness or whatever. So I don't really know what he was getting at, but those comedy communities let him have it.
And that resonated with me. So I thought, okay, he's feisty. So we're going to bring him onto the show. Ty Rivera, you guys. There you go. I remember you saying that.
That was the intro. That was the intro.
Big Les, the thing with Big Les was actually just, I felt she was being ungrateful at a point. I mean, like, she was so successful and is so successful, and she was letting these trolls, like, really get under her skin. And she had also got upset about, there were a lot of things that she had vented about at that time. And I just felt like, you're in a summer blockbuster right now. Like, why don't you be happy for all the good things that are happening instead of being worried about a troll with 45 followers?
Exactly. But I just felt like she was bitching about shit. I go, wait a minute, get in your fucking Rolls Royce and shut up.
This is podcast. It's called Savage
What are you so
AF.
worried about? Don't be pressed by people that don't matter.
Now I'm going to stop right here because you're going to see me not take my own advice. I said, don't get pressed by people that don't matter. You're going to see me for the duration of this podcast be pressed by people that don't matter.
Okay, well, let people know a little bit because we got a lot of people online are in the feed. Let them know a little bit about you, and then we're going to talk about the topic, which is Fauci is back, which is it's not like a sequel to anything. He's back for real, and he seems really confident that we can get through this shit called COVID. So let them know.
My name is Ty Rivera. I'm an openly gay stand-up comedian that usually works.
Oh
in
my
redneck
God,
clubs.
with this
I am
intro?
Latino, in case anybody can't read the color of my skin through this lighting. I supported Donald Trump. I voted for him twice. Some people have a problem
I've never
with
heard him
that,
do like
but
his own
it is
bio
what it is.
before. This is great.
I will say, Ty. By the way, I'm Black Pedro.
I thought you never worked together before.
No, I haven't.
No, not together on the same show. But I've seen you around town. I've seen a few sets of yours. I know you're a bold comic on stage. I appreciate that as a fellow artist in that field. So as a Trump supporter, I will say that in this arena, that's not a safe space. So we thank you for stepping into that. I'm pretty sure you may have understood that.
He knows.
The he knows gets on my nerves because I didn't know. I mean, like, yeah.
So yeah, I guess they were setting him up. I don't know the full story, but I guess basically he was getting set up to like go on this show, and they were gonna like 5 questions him about Trump and why he supports Trump. Now, that's fucking dumb. Okay, this is fucking retarded. Believe what you want to believe. And by all means, make your argument, state your case, but grilling someone for what they believe, and I know this doesn't sound, good coming from a ginger Santa Claus homeless man, but, you look fucking retarded arguing. And by the way, we're all comics, so you look real dumb trying to make points when you have no skills when it comes to like actually debating somebody. Neither one of these, what you're about to see is one of the saddest things I've ever seen. And for a grown man, remember, Ty Rivera is estimated age 60 to 704. And this is a man with the emotional maturity of probably around an 8-year-old from what I've seen. I mean, this whole 2-hour thing he's posted is a bitch fest about nothing. You know what I mean? If I got invited on a podcast and they started going in on me about something I believed, fine. I'll sit here and talk to you, and you can tell me how you don't agree, and then tell me your ridiculous opinion, and then I'll go, cool. Well, I think that's not right. And then we can move on. I sure would then run back and literally throw a bitch fest. You are going to see, and I'm telling you, get ready for it, a man who cannot handle adult emotions, who cannot process being challenged, who cannot think on his feet. And with the, the way he's talking about Shang, about like, I'm a better comic and I don't want to get into it, but we don't need to act like we're on the same level. It's like, motherfucker, Ty is, and this isn't like anything to do with Ty. Form your own opinion. Go on YouTube, pull up his video. Don't let me tell you. Pull it up. Go on YouTube. Find your own fucking video of this guy. I dare you. Find it. Search it out. Make your own opinion. Because I'll tell you something. When you watch it, you're going to find it's all the same. It's all the same hacky, gay material that was shocking and fresh circa 2007. 2007 to 2009, pre-financial crisis, FI-Cry. You might have really been into Ty Rivera. Let's take you back to your white privileged time. If you're not white, tune out. But if you're white, I want to take you back to 2008, okay? Obama's just been elected. You probably voted for him. You feel mature and helpful and fresh because of that, right? Ooh, I'm helping change, hope, right? And then what comes along? You go to your local comedy club. They've made a mistake and booked Ty Rivera. He's on stage talking about, I'm gay and I miss Bush. And you've never heard a sassy little peanut man, on stage before talking about how he's super into Dick and Bush. Holy shit. What do we have? A leprechaun? Make a wish. What are we doing? This was fresh stuff. This guy is shocking and awing with his hacky game. I've never heard a gay man talk like that. You did what? With what? How many dicks? I've never seen that movie with the 37 blowjobs and Kevin Smith behind the counter at a convenience stop. That was 2008. And you watch that, you would watch Ty Rivera, you would get really excited about that. Like, oh my God, a gay guy saying this is crazy. Fast forward, we've had Queer Eye on the Straight Guy in fucking 3 incarnations. You know what I mean? We've gotten everything in the goddamn world in the news that could shock us. From Tiger Woods, fucking Perkins waitresses, to Kanye West, Deep Dick and Jeffree Star. We're not shocked by it anymore. But that's all he does. He still just waddles out there, right? And does the same old material, right? It's all the same. He waddles out there like, guys, I'm not even worried about COVID. I had 17 dicks. That's the only vaccination I need. Like, this is what he's doing. It's not groundbreaking. It's not fresh. And you certainly shouldn't be pounding on your chest or this is Caesar's. Any sort of comedy scene that I'm familiar with, like, it hasn't been fresh in a decade, and you acting like it's fresh is making it more stale. You know, it'd be refreshing? An actual Christian going up on stage and praying at this point. That'd be super fresh.
I would assume that they were going to want to talk to me about that, but I didn't know
they
were
wouldn't
going to be combative about it, which I ended up finding out later is in the
Guess what? Half the people are combative about everything.
To get combative.
Get used to it.
Tell you, if I'd known
get a shotgun, get a job.
Combative, I just don't like arguing with people. I don't have time for it. I don't want to do it. It's just not my life. But it is what it is, and here we are. Also, never heard of Black Pedro in my entire life, so that was me being nice and
again,
like,
this
you know,
this is something idiots say and think is an insult. Okay? Like, there are 7 billion people on the earth. You having not heard of one is not miraculous. It's also not an insult. Hey, do you know Black Pedro? No, I don't know. That's how you should answer that question. It shouldn't be, hey, do you know Black Pedro? Pfft, no. Weird energy to bring into it, dude. For all you did, by the way, is not know a guy. So, you know, nobody's got clout in this situation. So why the dude? It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's so fucking weird, really.
Yeah, I don't know this guy, but whatever.
As if like, oh, if Ty doesn't know him, he must not be shit. Like, nobody knew Ty before I brought him to you.
Just a podcast host, as far as I go. That's what it's supposed to be, so what do I care? I don't have to know you.
Listen to this deep voice. Listen to this deep, deep voice. And ask psychologists what that voice indicates. Is his normal tone, right? Did you hear that? I never heard of Black Pedro, so I don't even know. I'm a fan. Ask psychologists what that means about a person. Don't sleep with your eyes closed, I'll tell you that much.
I'm openly gay, Mexican, and I perform in redneck clubs. I'm not used to being in safe spaces.
Yeah, no, you know, hey, live out loud. So we're gonna do this real quick. Our audience usually hates these segments, so we'll keep
That's
it quick.
great.
I usually like to ask 4 questions.
And then I'll ask 4 questions in succession, but they'll be very short.
You guys each asked 4 questions in succession? That sounds like a format to me. I might be wrong. Maybe I don't know what a format is anymore, but to me, that sounds like it might be a format. Let's see what happens with these 4 questions.
Of Trump supporters. All right, so who do you believe won the 2020 presidential election?
Well, obviously, Joe Biden is our president.
Yeah, I mean, this is a dumb question, okay? Who do you think won our election? It's like, I mean, ultimately the winner is the guy in the chair, right? I mean, what are you talking about? Joe Biden won. Like, this is a dumb question. And if you lobbed it up to me, I'd call it out for what it is. I sure wouldn't sit there and, well, it depends on what you mean by one. And again, high-pitched voice. Remember a minute ago? I never heard of Black Pedro. Woo!
Okay, so that's a good answer.
But do you believe he won the election?
I believe that there was some shadiness involved, and I think that anybody that doesn't agree with that or doesn't admit to that isn't being honest with kind of the facts and what we've seen. I would like to know what actually happened. I'm not one of those people that thinks like Donald Trump won and that's just why we didn't hear anything. But you have to admit, there's never been another time. We used to stay up through the elections all.
Look at Black Pedro already. Like, I don't have to admit anything. And this is the problem. Like, I don't know Black Pedro at all, but I will tell you this. Like, you know, the vibe I'm getting from him, Shang seems pretty down the middle. The vibe I'm getting from Black Pedro is you can't tell me anything about anything either. You know, Ty's like that too. But that's also the vibe I'm getting from Black Pedro when I listen to this. To let you know, like, that's the vibe I get. Because Black Pedro's already shaking his head. So I already feel like he's a radical leftist. And I haven't even really gotten into this.
All the time. You know, there's never been another time where they shut it down at 11 p.m. and we're like, all right, nothing to see here. So, like, you know, and then with the situation that happened in Fulton County at the, what was it?
Where Black people voted? Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so these are honestly just based.
Don't try to do that to me.
See, this is what got on my nerves about that part, is when he's like, where Black people voted? Yeah, that's crazy. And then he just starts talking like that's what I was saying. That's me putting words in my mouth. I don't have a problem with Black people voting. I'm a person of color. I mean, like, really, you think that Black people voting is what my problem was? No, not at all. What I was talking about in Fulton County was at State Farm Arena, where they had that situation.
What?
Where they said that there was a water main that had burst, and then later on they couldn't find the repair ticket.
Oh, the Fulton County water main. The old Fulton County water main.
Said that it was highly exaggerated. It was slow leak that caused about an hour and a half delay. We contained it quickly. It did not spread. We just wanted to protect the equipment. That was all they could find as far as what had happened at State Farm Arena. So that seemed a little bit shady to me. My problem was that, and a lot of people have brought that up. So I don't know why he's trying to turn it into me saying that I had a problem with Black people voting, which that wasn't where I was going with that at all. So,
it wasn't. It was a low
fucking
hack comment by him that you should have blown right by and not commented on. But you couldn't let it go because you're an insane man who had to go. Imagine doing a 45-minute podcast and then having to do a 2-hour explainer about it. Like, guys, they didn't really get me. I got them. Oh, yeah, no, that's what we heard. We heard you got them. That's what we all thought, but that you watched it, it looked like they really got you. But I'm glad you did a 2-hour explainer. It doesn't make you look desperate, petty, and sad at all. You clearly know what you're doing. Back to you, sir.
And pretend that that's what I meant when that's not at all what I was saying.
Like, no. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to do anything. No. That's a baseline thing. That's a baseline thing. But honestly, these are just base questions just to see where you at. Like,
yeah, but don't
I'll do whatever. This is my show. Welcome to my show.
But Ty, my question. Let me ask my question.
Okay.
Welcome to my show.
Look at this.
On this end.
Oh, God.
It's already done, dog. This is my show. Do whatever.
I'll do whatever. This is my show, and you're having a conversation.
I said it's not a safe space, though, dog.
I'm not looking for a safe space, but I will be treated fairly. That's something that will happen.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Let me ask you. I will follow up with that question. Okay, so you believe that there was some chicanery that went on, some bullshit went down with the election, but ultimately he fucking lost. Trump lost, and he's about to get indicted. So anything, it doesn't matter. This is what's going to happen. Right, no. 81 million people is more than 73 million people.
It is so cringe, both sides of it. Like, imagine sitting there and arguing like, you got to admit, though, 83 million is more than 72 million. It's like, what? So, Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to get a hold of, oh God, why did it do Gotham again to me? I didn't care for that. I would like to get a hold of Shang. Shang could be a really valuable asset to this show. I like that. I like that they just brought this fucking phony on and tagged him. And you know what? I'll tell you this too. And I've said this before. When people get personal problems with comics and then start shitting on the quality of the comic, that's how you can know I'll never trust a person again. This person, I guarantee you, thanks for the sub, Meg, from Family Guy. Look, I don't know. I never commented on ties, so it's not like I ever backtracked on that. And the people that I've had a problem with in the comedy world, I sure don't go out and start shitting on them comedically if I liked them yesterday. So for him to like work with this guy and like get along with this guy, and then all of a sudden just like, by the way, since he dissed me, I'll just tell you that he's shit anyway. It's like, you're already a fucking very disingenuous person. I don't want to be a part of anything that you ever fucking do, you liar. And this type of personality that can do that. Like, look, I don't like Kool-Aid. I don't think he's funny. We get it. You're fat. Come up with a joke, you know? And if we have a falling out and I start talking shit about his comedy, you'll be able to come back to this and be like, wow, even when they were friends, he thought he was a shit hack. You know, so that's just where I'm at. I stay consistent. And that's the kind of reliability you can trust when it comes to me talking about my friends. And why would you trust Josh Denny? But yeah, but I like Josh. I think Josh was funny. You know what I mean? I just like to see if Kool-Aid's awake sometimes when we're doing these things. But this whole thing of like, I don't even know him. He's not even funny. How can you say someone's not funny if you've never heard of them and don't know them? It's weird to like start critiquing someone's act when you don't know them. He'll do the same thing about Shang in a minute too. Probably like, I don't even watch him. I've never really seen him or anything. He sucks. It's like, what? What? There's nothing you're going to say on this fucking video that doesn't make you look sadder and sadder. And wait, you have no idea what's coming. You have no idea what's coming. Break down the Las Vegas comedy community. I'm going to let you know what's going on. Nothing gets by me anymore. I bought a house. I've built a fortress. We have a place now where we're going to air it all out. Okay? So here we go. Here we go. Will you come with me on this journey? Like, subscribe, hit that, smash that like button for the YouTube alg. Please never do that.
And 306 electoral votes is more than 200.
I'm really just trying to get through 4 base questions just to see where we at on the spectrum, right?
Yeah, then don't cut me up at any
You're getting really upset about a gay person. You're getting really upset about a gay person doing gay shit. I won't rest until he's in the grave.
These are really just
till he's dust and diamond.
Yes or no?
That's the thing.
These are really.
Well, if it was just no, you guys wouldn't have paused because I said I gave you an answer at the beginning, and then you guys.
So these are just yes or no's, is all I'm saying, right? Like these are just quickie based questions just to say, hey, where are you at politically? So no, you don't really believe that Joe Biden won a fair election. My next question is, do you believe that
You just saw my eyes notice that I've been muted.
that 400,000 plus people now have died from the coronavirus? Just yes or no?
You just answered the question for me while muting my mic. Do you think
I didn't mute your mic. Nobody muted your mic.
I did. I muted his mic because I'm just trying to get through.
You want to be in control of the conversation. You want to be. No, you
I'll tell you another
I'm
thing.
always in control of the conversation.
That's how the
This guy, this is like it's a weird power, but he's like, I'm just letting you know I'm always in control of the conversation because it's my podcast, dog. You want my podcast? I'm in control, dog. Like, whoa. I don't know either of these guys, but like, both of them are not coming off well. Is Ty R to the tarded? I don't know. But I just noticed that Pedro is holding a mic, which Ty does for a lot of his videos. You see somebody holding a mic on a camera, long format show. Like, imagine if I had to hold this mic. Like, that's crazy. Pedro might be a little nuts. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get in. I don't know where I stand on Pedro. I'm letting you know right now. He's acting a little wild cardy. Who can't, like, imagine having to flex in a Zoom room of 3 people with Ty Rivera and Black Pedro and Shang, and you have to flex like, I'm always in control, dog. Like, whoa. Okay. I believe that, like, no one's challenging you. I believe you're always in control of this, podcast. Like, it's a weird flex. I'm going to wind it back a little bit. We are 15 minutes into a 2-hour and 15-minute thing. But listen to this flex. It's so weird. Like, oh, I'm in control.
People's
like, whoa.
More than 73 million people, and 306 electoral votes is more than 200.
I'm really just trying to get through 4 base questions just to see where we at on the spectrum, right?
Yeah, then don't cut me up at any point and say anything.
Well, no. But these are These are really just yes or no. These are really.
You guys wouldn't have paused because I said I gave you an answer at the beginning, and then you got.
So these are just yes or no's. Is all I'm saying. These are just quickie-based questions, just to say, hey, where are you at politically? So, no, you don't really believe that Joe Biden won a fair election. My next question is, do you believe that
You just saw my eyes notice that I've been muted.
that 400,000 plus people now have died from
Watch the flex.
Just yes or no?
You just answered the question for me while muting my mic. Do you think I
didn't mute your mic. Nobody
Of course,
muted your mic.
I did. I muted his mic because I'm just trying to get through.
You want to be in control of the conversation. You want to be. No, you answered that.
I'm always in control of the conversation.
But that's how the show is, man. So listen,
we're always in control.
Okay, no.
I'm asking you.
Yeah, it sounds really controlled.
To have a conversation, not have my.
I'm trying to get through 4 base
Bye
questions.
bye, everybody.
Answer the question. Hold up, Pedro.
No.
Answer the question, and we'll go to the next
You
question.
asked me the question if I thought Donald Trump had
Right,
lost.
and I said
exactly, Joe Biden is our president. That's exactly
and you thought, right.
And then
So
you
that
guys
was your answer.
wanted me to say something, so I went ahead and started talking again, and then he went ahead and tried to talk over me. So I don't know what you guys are trying to do here, but it's not
Like a 7 minutes about the mic. Look, no, then he did that. Then I said no. Then you muted it. And I don't know what you guys are trying to pull here. It's like they muted it. That's what they were trying to pull. Like, you guys can't agree which number is higher, 83 or 72. Imagine diving into that conversation. I'd be like, I'm out. I'd rather go watch The Office again, see if that Jim and Pam ever pan out.
Okay, fine. So, do you believe that 400,000 people have died from the coronavirus, COVID-19?
I think that those numbers are skewed too, because if you look at the way that they were doing it, look at what I mean, what's that?
That's a no, right? You don't believe that many people have died. That's all I'm asking.
It's just like they're such dumb questions. It's like, imagine me getting into it with a guy about that. Like, that's not it's just not that simple of a question. And like Ty's right. This is the problem with a lot of this. It's like Ty's right. You know, a lot of people who are marked as dying because of COVID didn't die actually because of COVID. This is by hospital's own admission. Like, you know, if a guy got stabbed on the street but tested positive for COVID, they marked down COVID. And it's not an exaggeration. That's actually true. Like, hospitals have said that. So it's tough. I do think more than 4,000 people have obviously died from COVID worldwide. But imagine doing a show about it. Like, what's the new ground we're all trying to break here? What's the point we're all trying to make? All I see is one dumb guy asking a dumb question that's not really fleshed out, and another dumb guy trying to answer it. It's like, you're all dumb. Nobody knows how many people have died from COVID. What's the fucking point? What's the point? But I sure will tell you this. I would never feel attacked. Okay. Ty feels so attacked and triggered. I give no shits about what the people closest to me believe that doesn't line up with what I believe. Why do you think I give a fuck about some comic I've never even heard of? Imagine letting a guy you've never heard of do this to you in 15 minutes. Ty is ready to slit his lisps.
I mean, you can explain it, but I'm just like, we're just setting a base. Like, we believe that they have. You believe that they haven't. That right. I'm just trying to set up the dichotomy, dog. Like, that's it. I'm really like, you can explain. Like, you're not going to convince us of that or my audience, and I'm not going to convince
you of that.
Right? It's like, what an insanely dumb statement. Then, like, there's two ways to look at that one. You know, look, you ain't going to convince me or my audience of anything. It's like, then what are we doing? You know, this seems like a horrible idea then. Or B, like, you never sound smart saying I'll never change my mind. You just don't. And look, you go like, well, murdering people is wrong. I'll never change my mind. Like, okay, Dad. But being closed-minded and not open to other people's ideas. Look, dog, we're going to let you say everything you want to say, but nobody here going to believe any of it. We're not changing our minds at all. We're not even going to think about it. Cool. They take away his free speech. What? Free speech.
I'll tell you what I do.
I don't need the explanation.
Hold
on. We've all heard the thing, though. Like, we all have our rhetoric. So I'm just saying, you don't believe that many people have died, right? Like, right. You don't, and we do.
Let me explain to you.
It's like, I love that you asked a question you already knew the answer to, and you're like, look, dog, you believe what you believe, and then I believe what I believe. That's all there's to it. It's like, but you asked. So, you know, this is how you know I'm 100% on the level with this shit. I'm actually defending Ty Rivera now. I don't know what Shang's doing. He's just taking a nap over in the corner. But, like, yeah, this is, like, I love that you ask a question, and then when he answers it, he's like, it is what it is. Nobody's changing their mind. Shut up. It's like, what? But you just asked.
Real quick, okay?
Go ahead.
Time out of my day
to
my God. Your guys' show. The minimum that I will ask is that I be treated with respect.
See, this is another big mistake people have. This goes right up there with being offended, I think, and free speech. People have it in their head that you don't have the right to say anything that offends me. I have the right to never be offended. Neither of those rights exist and aren't real things, but they are very much embedded into the culture and the prevalent, I would think, school of thought today. Like, if you walked up to anyone, I think in America, for the most part, on a sidewalk and say, like, do you agree that people don't have the right to be offensive? They'd go like, yeah, of course. Like, people shouldn't be offensive. It's like, and they should go to jail for being offensive. Like, yeah, of course. And the problem becomes the line in the sand. What's offensive and who's deciding that, right? Like, ultimately. So, I arguing about that. So I've lost my whole fucking train of thought. Oil of every pearl and pearls and inside. What? I don't know where I was fucking going with that. You guys got me all fucking twisted with the chat. You know, don't do that to me again. I'm going to have to hide stuff. What did they say? Something triggered me here. Hold on.
Hold on.
Oh, respect. Basically, it was about respect, I think. You don't have the right to someone's respect. I don't respect anyone unless they earn my respect. Respect has to be earned. You know, this idea, we're so fucking weird down the weird rabbit hole of like, you've got to respect him and you've got to, you know, respect their beliefs. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. That's not a rule anywhere. Idiots should not be respected. Like, they just shouldn't. Like, do you respect children? Do you respect autists? Do you respect retards? Do you walk up to people who you know are mentally incapacitated on the street and respect their opinions as much as you respect an able-minded man? Of course you don't. That would be insane. Look, I'll come on your show, but you're gonna respect me. It's like, no. That's, like, imagine respecting Ty. Comedy jail is going to be so funny. The top left guy looks like a fat Sean King. Okay. The quarterback?
Hold on. We've all heard the thing, though. Like, we all have our rhetoric. So I'm just saying, you don't believe that many people have died, right? Like, you don't. And we do.
Let me explain to you real quick.
Look at him say that. You don't, and we do. That's it. It's like, all right. Like, what's your point? We got no points.
Go ahead.
I take time out of my day to do your guys' show. The minimum that I will ask is that I be treated with respect. So if you ask me a question, I'll answer your question. You don't answer for me. I don't need anybody to. So what you're saying is, no, that's not what you're doing. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not going to put words in your mouth at any point.
That's right. Sip your wine, girls. Sip your wine.
I don't expect to have words put in mine.
I'm not quick enough to come up with things on the fly, so I edit a video later and just chime in with my little snippets.
Like, you know, when it comes down to it, if you look at even what they said, like one of the, I can't remember who the spokesman was that said it.
It was the director of the health department in Illinois.
That they were actually, if a person had COVID at the time that they died, they were counting.
Watch Pedro nodding, too. This is another thing. Like, you're either on cocaine or you're manic. Like, I mean, there's no like, this is one of the saddest conversations that's ever taken place on a podcast, and there's no reason to be so fired up you're rocking your chair going at what he's saying right now. Like, this is boring. Like, you shouldn't be fired up ready to respond. This is not good.
As a COVID death.
Right.
So when it comes to that, no, I don't necessarily think that it's 400,000 people that have died of COVID.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yes. Do I think
Who
400,000
cares?
people died of COVID? No.
This is where it gets annoying. Let me play this clip really quick and show you guys why.
Look at him. Look at him giving proof.
I just want to be clear in terms of the definition of people.
I'm
dying
sorry.
of COVID.
Imagine.
So the case definition.
Imagine doing a podcast, getting in an argument with someone, and then rushing home to do a podcast on your own terms where you provide backup clips of supporting evidence. Like, who the fuck cares? Hey, you can find a news clip that'll support any fucking wonky shit you want to fucking throw out there. Like, period. You know what I mean? So this is nothing. But the sadness and the cringe element of him running home to do this, like, I hope to God Shang and Black Pedro just laughed their asses off when this was over and never thought about it again. Not Ty. He went home. He's like, wait till I get my lights out of the drawer and hook up my sign.
No.
Okay. There we go.
See, Tyler, that was in there. Okay. But let me ask something.
Hold on. Wait.
Okay.
I got my last question.
And then I'll ask you a question.
I have a premise. It's based on a personal premise that if you are a Trump supporter, you are either really rich, really racist, or both. Do you fall into any of those three categories?
Like, you hear that?
Now, this is where I truly began to feel like Pedro was dumb. And I know he gets mad later on.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert, I'm telling him that I think
I gotta go with my boy Ty on this. Like, that's an insane statement. And that goes to the level of, like, mob mentality and groupthink that not only on the left, but it's the same thing that led to like, a bunch of idiots thinking they could like do something at the Capitol. Like, this is like, and what did he say? What did he call it? A premise? Yo, look, I got a premise. If you like Trump, you're either, what did he say? Racist, rich, or both. It's like, so we gotta go. We gotta dive into this. Thanks for the sub, Weinbach wormhole. So there's three possibilities, I guess. You're being sensationalist, right? I think he meant Prius, but misspoke. What? You either are you're just being sensational, and you're just being crazy. Like, if you like Trump, you're racist or rich. So okay. Or so you either really, the first fork in the road, I guess, is you really believe that statement or not. Okay, so if you don't believe it and you're just saying it because it's that's crazy, good one, because that's not a fresh take. And B, let's go down the fork where you actually believe that. You believe that 72 million Americans are rich or racist. I mean, I gotta agree with Ty. You sound dumb AF. And I know the show's called Savage AF. You sound dumb AF. And look, I don't know Black Pedro, and I'm not saying that as a pejorative like he does. But, like, if you like Joe Biden, your brain's either made out of pudding or you like Skittles. It's like, what? That makes as much sense. But I sure, guess what I wouldn't do? I sure wouldn't run home and tell like, guys, I was just on a podcast and they said.
He's dumb.
Imagine doing a podcast.
He's dumb is because when you're a smart person, when you're an intelligent person, you don't have to force people into these boxes in order to make your argument. What you're telling me,
says the guy who literally that's all he does. Like, he only has arguments in his circle. Like, you'll notice this about Ty. This was a rare fuck up for him because he stepped out of his comfort zone. He went into another environment that somebody else could control, and he doesn't have the chops to fucking handle that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, but you got to realize, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have that. Like, in his mind, he thinks he's like some like comic quick-witted genius. Again, he's very hack. He's got baseline skills at best, and for him to put someone else down comedically, and he knows better too. Like, he knows he's not that good, which is why he will block anyone who argues too well with him under the name of "I'm bored with this." He'll block anyone and not bring anybody up that he won't. If he ever has an argument out in the real world, and it doesn't go well for Ty, he's not winning the argument, what he'll do, he'll delete his stuff out of it immediately, back away from the argument, and not tell anybody about it. If he feels like he won the argument, he'll run and tell everybody. But if he feels like he didn't win, he has to block it and make sure nobody sees that he didn't win an argument. So for him to step out and go do somebody else's podcast out of his control and comfort zone, really a big leap for him, man. Really a big leap. So kudos to him for doing that, but it did not go well. And this is why he will not, even begin to engage with this podcaster. He couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it. I would love to talk to Shang and Black Pedro. Like, and again, that should tell you something too. Oh, Black Pedro, isn't it? Got it.
When you say that this is what you think, is there's only three ways you're willing to go at this, or there's only three ways that a person can disagree with you. They have to be really rich, really racist, or both. So, Of course, I already think you're dumb because you're not willing to just talk to me about this just as me, the individual. I have to fit into one of these boxes for your arguments to work. So you already showed your hand. Dumb.
A lot of them live with their dads.
Well, then, all right, then. No.
I didn't mute your mic now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got Shang clearly like doing this podcast in his living room. You got, thanks for the sub. Think Tank 49. Shang's in his living room, while his wife's at work, and this guy's in his room. Again, There's one thing that screams, I do this professionally. It's, let me find a place to talk. You know what I mean? I don't like it. And I don't like the weird energy people have when they think they're winning an argument. Wait, so you're saying he's a Faygo drinker? I don't even know what that means.
So go ahead and answer if you want to.
I think that's a dumb thing to say. Like, it's not even a question. It's like, I want you to know what I think, and then do you, like, if you're asking do I agree with you, no, I don't agree with you, but I'm either of those two things.
They all just yell over.
You also said...
It's basically what Pedro says, I think you're racist. Do you agree? And Ty's calling him out, going like... And then now Pedro's screaming at him like, I told you it was a premise. I'm like, okay.
They were yes or no.
You identified.
Yes or no question.
They did say yes or no questions, and then they gave me anything but a yes or no
Who
question.
cares? Like, what a weird thing to police. They said on this podcast they were going to do yes or no questions, and they didn't. What? Imagine.
Pretty much none of their questions have been yes or no questions, so they're not even smart enough to know that. I hate to be mean, but they're just dumb. I mean, like, it's like I've done podcasts with really smart people. It's just what it is. I've talked to people that are very, very intelligent. And so when I'm dealing with these two buffoons, it's just, I feel insulted. My intelligence feels insulted even being there. I'm mad at myself for even allowing myself to get...
The thing about it, too, is, like, we're so, like, this country is such a fucking divided fucking mess. It's like you're just never gonna agree with anybody again about everything. Everybody thinks they know the real thing. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, imagine. I'm so sick of dealing with idiots. They don't understand that it's like, yeah, everyone's dumb, man. Everyone is dumb. Everyone. Including you. You don't know half of it. Yeah, but the Dogecoin and the GameStop.
into this situation, and it was me. Nobody else got me booked for this. It was me that did this. So...
Nobody else got me booked for that. Oh, we thought there was like a gatekeeper.
This guy.
Listen, if you're really rich, you don't have to be racist. You could be in it for the
And
tax.
if you're really good at what you're trying to do, you don't have to try to put the other person in another position that they're not in.
Okay, first off, hey,
By the way, we are getting a look at the Nook. You know what I mean? We're getting a look at the Nook.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Oh, let me show you. I don't know if this will work on here, but let's try. Yes. Look at that technology. A look at the Nook. We are seeing where Ty does his podcast from without the lights, without the signs, without any of it. Just an old wine bottle and a globe you'd find at an old thrift mart. You know, stuff laying around like old gays would have. I would like, and this is I'll throw this out, free merch from the NLO store to the first person who can identify for me the painting on his wall. I have to know. And there's a better shot when he does his little live shot. We'll dive into it. Just so you know, there's a guy with his brain out here, and then it's got an ape, and I think it says a couple of times in different ways. It says "Brave New World," and I want to know I want to know where you get that pain, and B, how old it is, and where you got the fucking frame. Oh, God. It is interesting, though, to see his little setup there without his lights and stuff. Imagine him scrambling around to do a podcast. He has to set up his little lights and all his props and his signs now, and then he fucking scoops it up and puts it away for when company comes over. You know, he can't, like, when he has all his fucking grinder guys in, he can't just, like, blow it off that easy. You can't just be like, those lights and unbothered, that's my podcast where I'll probably talk about you as soon as you come in my asshole. Whatever, I'm not bothered by it. Unbothered. With Ty Bapera.
Hey, everybody. Whoa. Everybody. Now, so
everybody.
You think it's a dumb
Both
question?
of us?
I got it. My question to you is, you get a lot of backlash sometimes, not only from, when you do redneck clubs, because I've done a lot of the same fucking clubs you've done.
See, this is where Shang gets confused. He thinks because we do the same room sometimes, which we do actually do the same room sometimes, but he thinks that we're the same because we do those rooms. And
you're not. He's better than you. I've never seen a full set by either of you. But I've seen what he does for about 30 minutes, and I've seen what you do for about 30 minutes. Man, we really see what we want to see. You're not good at all, dude. I'm not saying people don't laugh. People are dumb. We've already fucking learned that here tonight. I don't headline a lot of the same clubs as Ty Rivera. The only ones I ever see his name at are the shittiest clubs I work. You'll see. You want to look at Ty Rivera's schedule, I guarantee you it repeats on the bi-monthly. Does he mean twice a month or every other month? You fucking figure it out. I'm very angry.
That makes no sense to me. The clown and the trapeze artist are in the same circus. That doesn't mean they're dealing with the same level of skill. So stay in your place, clown.
Okay, for redneck clubs.
Hold on. In this dream metaphor of yours, where you're not in the same league as another guy, funny guy-wise, you're not the clown? Also, somebody please clip that for me. He thought, because remember, he edits all these together. He thinks very much, and you can also see the painting better in this shot. Let me get rid of the Ubiquity logo so you can see it a little better. Bloop. There's that painting. So screenshot that. Whatever you got to do. Get that and find out what that is. Because, Oh, God. Check your text. The blacks have a month now. The bisexuals. Who's next? Check. You don't have to keep saying check your text again. Patrick just got think stopped. Oh, well. We are 21 minutes into a 2 hour and 15 minute video. And all we've determined is that both of these people are nuts. Shang, if I was you, I'd walk away from all this. This seems it seems crazy to me to even be involved with any of these cuckoo-cachooks. But yeah, I love. Somebody get a clip of this insult for me because him thinking he burned a guy is great.
For even allowing myself to get into this situation, and it was me. Nobody else.
Stay in your lane, clown.
Me that did this. So
honk honk.
Blame this guy.
Listen, if you're really rich, you don't have to be racist. You could be in it for the
And
tax.
if you're really good at what you're trying to do, you don't have to try to put the other person in another position that they're not in.
Okay, first off, hey, everybody, whoa, everybody. Now, so you think it's a dumb question? I got it. My question to you is, you get a lot of backlash sometimes, not only from, when you do redneck clubs, because I've done a lot of the same fucking clubs you've done.
See, this is where Shang gets confused. He thinks
he's not confused, idiot. He works more than you. I'd be willing to bet dollar bills on it. New Zealand
he thinks that we're the same because we do those rooms, and that makes no sense to me. The clown and the trapeze
Here we go.
artist are in
Stay in your lane, clown.
That doesn't mean they're dealing with the same level of skill. So stay in your place, clown.
Okay, clubs. You get
get him a body bag.
It's not like you couldn't handle a fucking question or a debate. But the thing is, you get indignant by the question instead of answering the question.
If you notice, the first question
so
I
does
answered, well, Joe
Black
Biden's our
Pedro,
president,
Shang.
so, and then they wanted more. So I didn't get indignant by the question. I got indignant by the fact that they would cut me off or they'd start talking over me. That's what I got indignant by. So even that, misrepresentation, it's like these two don't know how to make their argument without projecting onto me.
I'll put a quarter in your ass, could you please just
what
say
I'm doing instead of like acknowledging their own stupidity, their own behavior. So frustrating.
Who cares?
I should have never, ever done this podcast.
I wish I knew how to quit.
No, actually, I started off.
You did.
Actually, I started off being very polite.
You started off. I'm saying let's just keep
the
it
minute
quick.
somebody puts words into my mouth, I get very annoyed because I'm so used to people doing that, and it's such a problem I have with the way people work on the internet now. Is if people want to talk to you and get your opinions on things, I'm fine with that. I'm always willing to answer any question. But the thing I don't like is when people try to speak for me and put words in my mouth, and that's something that I just won't do with people. And on
the flip side, I think people try and explain away a lot of stuff.
On the really real,
bro. You don't. I asked you if you believe 400,000 people have died from COVID.
And I gave you a very good answer to that.
You gave me an explanation, but at the end of the day, it's no. You do not believe 400,000 people have died.
So clear, I believe 400,000 people have died with COVID.
Who cares?
There's false positives. There's false negatives. We don't know what the numbers are on COVID. Why is that such a thing to argue for some people? Like, these two idiots don't get it. There's really nothing
He is right. He's right about
what
that
are you
point.
arguing with me about? Does anybody really know the numbers for COVID? I would be willing to bet Anthony Fauci doesn't know the real numbers for COVID. The CDC doesn't know the real numbers for. Nobody knows.
He's got a point. Like, that guy is dumb, but then he says just as dumb things. Like, I bet Anthony Fauci doesn't even know the real numbers. It's like, in what world do you think, like, first of all, of course no one knows the real numbers. Like, that's impossible. But he pictures a world where, like, the only guy who knows the real numbers is Anthony Fauci. He's like, nah, that's not even that. Like, what? What? Not even Anthony Fauci knows. It's like, oh, shit, not even Fauci. Okay.
Real numbers for COVID. That's just what it is. So get over it. Stop trying to push that point.
Yelling. Incensed, I would dare say.
Dummy.
That's it.
No, that's not what it is.
I know that. I know. I can tell you what you said. You said that 400,000 people have died with COVID, but not from it. And I asked you if people have died from it.
There you go.
I know what you said, but I asked you if people
died from it. It was from it.
No, you don't believe that. That's all I'm saying. But we're on different ends of I'm just trying to set up the teeter-totter, right? Like, where are we on the spectrum, right? How far away from the middle are we, right? You do not believe that. I believe that those people have died from it, right?
Quick fun fact. George Floyd actually had COVID at the time that he died.
Oh shit, that is true. Imagine if you were able to argue and you could have brought that up in the moment. He's so bad. He like goes home and then gets all his facts straight and then he can argue. It's like that would have been a powerful moment. But that is true. You know, George Floyd had needles of COVID found in his butt. His butt crack. And they said that was the cause, actually, not the cop.
Think that George Floyd died of COVID, or did George Floyd die because of the cop's knee on his neck?
I would also like to know what this sign is and how it was made. If that makes any sense. Does that make any sense to anybody? Like, how do I get in on this? Fucking hell. What is this sign made of? How is it made? How does it work? Clearly, like, not the light part. I understand that. But what is the rest of it? Here's what it looks like to me, and you tell me if I'm wrong. These are like the letters you can go buy at Walgreens when you're doing a science project. Photosynthesis and me. What are conductors? You know, that kind of a thing. When you make your board, that trifold board for the science fair. I mean, it's clearly handmade. The spacing isn't uniform through the word. Once you get to the THERED, we got wobbly letters. And, you know, they're not all baselined correctly. So you tell me, how was this made? Did this, and this is, Patrick, why do you want to know? What's the big deal? What I want to know is, did this motherfucker be cutting out letters and gluing them onto, like, poster board? I also think I see around the HE, and I don't know if I can zoom in much further. This looks like maybe a split in the background, too, right here. Like there's another piece of the gray stuff, whatever it is, that continues here. So I don't know. You tell me. What is this fucking sign made of? And then why is it on like a bigger black piece? Like, what is the design with the long word and then the black rectangle behind? Like, what is going on? Is it Velcroed to the shitty wood paneling in his wine nook? So many questions, not enough answers, and I would love for someone to explain.
Is he one of the COVID numbers? That's all I want to know.
People are saying it's totally a glue bubble. It does look misaligned. Imagine him with a glue stick sitting on the floor making that. Now, yeah, but you guys could be like, well, imagine Patrick in his garage cutting all this wood. Like I did that. Why? How come that's not gay for me to build this studio? But when he works hard on his studio, you know, we can't see Patrick. What do you mean you can't see? For Thanksgiving, he's going to add a hand turkey. What do you mean he can't see? It does look like glue on construction paper. Oh, fuck. It's more dad-like, less kindergarten crafts. Left-handed safety scissors. Yeah, I don't know. He worked really, really hard on it, though. He almost looks like he gives a fuck. And by the way, at the end of December, you know, this guy wrote, this is the last of my content, premium content that'll be going up for free until I switch to my Patreon. To my knowledge, and we'll get our fact checkers on this, is he have a Patreon? Is he have one? Does he Patreon? Because when I search Ty Rivera Patreon, and believe me, I wake up and do it on the daily. Thanks for the sub. You know, All that comes up is a podcast he did with Tim Dillon, and I don't know Tim Dillon, but I have to imagine if he knew more about Ty, he wouldn't think. And and Josh Denny tweeted something about happy birthday to the best gay comedian ever, Ty Rivera. It's like, it's such an insult to both gays and comedians to even say that. And I almost want to make friends with Josh enough to figure out. But he's talked about this Patreon when we started on Ty in July Ty, and he's been talking about this Patreon since August, September. There's no Patreon. There's no content. So I don't know what it is that he's after, but it's all lies and it's all scams. And you should all be very afraid.
Is he one of the COVID numbers?
Whether they had it or not.
A person that dies in a car accident that has COVID died of COVID. You think COVID is what killed them and not the car accident? That's what you're telling me.
What if they passed out from COVID and veered off the road?
What?
Who passes out from COVID?
We have heard no stories of people passing out from COVID and wrecking their car.
Like, these guys are throwing out hypothetical, anecdotal bullshit to try to back up, concrete numbers. 400,000 people have died. So you're telling me if someone's been in a car crash and they died but had COVID, that would count? Yeah, but what if the car crash just made them bleed, but then the COVID wouldn't stop the bleed? It's like, what are you doing? How is everyone having this dumb of a conversation and mad/hurt about it? If you ever wrote me into this conversation and checked my Apple Watch, it would think I was in a coma. It would vibrate and said, it's time to get up and stand now. Are you sleeping? Again, we're 26 minutes into this, but I can't imagine yelling this long about something that, first of all, if you're mad and they fucked you and you felt ambushed and wronged, go home and forget about it.
Or any of that stuff. I don't know if maybe there's some stories I haven't heard about where that did happen, but that's what I meant by who passes out from COVID. I haven't heard a lot about that. People usually go to the hospital with COVID, and then
he's defending this hypothetical Black Pedro just made up.
I haven't heard of that. So
who cares?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are people passing out behind the wheel with COVID, and I'm just not aware.
People who can't breathe well?
Yeah, their respiratory system goes out and then that happens. That's real.
Shang,
that is real.
Not from COVID, but Shang has passed out behind the wheel. Into the
asymptomatic, which is another thing that happens. People will be asymptomatic, then they would have no symptoms of COVID. So that person wouldn't have.
Black Pedro just went off on a story about a time Shang passed out driving that had nothing to do with COVID and acted like that was a point that was going to seal his no, that is true. Shang passed out one time. It's what? What are we even arguing about now?
Breathing problems, that person wouldn't pass out.
You just placed asymptomatic situation on our, hypothetical driver, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna tread lightly. I don't know. I'm ready to almost call it that Black Pedro's pretty dumb. Look, he might not be dumb, but he doesn't know how to argue or make points. What's crazy is Ty feels attacked and ambushed right now. He's feeling hurt and defensive. Shang is kind of cringing, I hope he doesn't go too hard. Ty's kind of my friend, but whatever. Black Pedro thinks he's crushing it right now. Damn, dog, I'm making so many points. It's you're all over the place and you haven't made one really good argument. Your questions are based upon weird premises that the person has to accept before they even start answering the question. And also they're not of any consequence. Who cares if we don't agree on the number of people who have died from COVID? Now what? What do we do? Now what do we do? Okay? So you don't think they died? No. So you don't? No. Yeah, well, we think they do. You're saying they didn't. Right. Okay. This concludes the Got 'em segment of the pod. Like, what? I don't like, what is any of this? Who cares?
It's totally ineffective.
By the way, nobody likes onions is included in that statement.
We're now making up scenarios that may or may not have happened.
It took him 3 different hypotheticals to go like, all right, everybody, we're getting a little off the rails. That's how slow your brain is?
Right.
My thing wasn't about putting words in your mouth, right? I asked these 4 questions very specifically to try and reach a base, to see where we are. And you want to explain when really it's very simple. Like,
oh, wow.
Yes, you believe
Oh,
that.
no. I've got somebody in the chat room attacking me now. Somebody called me Action Bronson, and they told me I'm not as smart as I think you are. Shut the fuck up. So let's boil this down, because I love to get into a person, and I actually like a well-found. Now, imagine if I just did a 7-hour podcast of this and said I was ambushed. This account was created November 20th, 2019. Followed me today. Jamela. You're so annoying. Laughing my ass off. Just kidding. Okay. So I don't know if this is really a woman. It could actually be a woman, but it's probably not. You know. Here's all the chat she said. Do you get unbothered if people roast you? It's the stock font in Final Cut Pro. Oh yeah, he keeps he keeps his title on his video the entire 2 hours, so that every time it cuts to him has his name underneath him. Like, it's a little so I'm not as smart as this person's clearly nothing. Good one, Jamela. Thanks for the follow. But if you have any valid complaints, other than coming on my stream and telling me to shut the fuck up, like, that's kind of what this is a place for me. My feelings. I don't come down to your.
No, you don't believe in Q. No, we don't either. Okay, we're both there, right? Like, so I'm just trying to see where we are. And at the end of the day, you don't really believe that Joe Biden won a fair election, in my opinion, based on your answer, because you think there was some chicanery or tomfoolery.
He's doing like these big gotchas to Ty that like Ty does videos about all the time. Of course, Ty thinks the election was stolen. Of course, Ty supports Trump. Of course, he thinks COVID's not a real threat. Like, he's done videos about this for a year. And then Black Pedro's on here like, yeah, and then you said that you didn't think COVID was serious. It's like, yeah, he did. And, like, Pedro's acting like someone with a different opinion than him is a real gotcha, which is, like, super, like, it's kind of like super leftist stuff. So you're saying you think people should be able to say offensive stuff? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, and it's like, it's the First Amendment. But that won't stop like guys like Black Pedro being over there like, oh, no, you did. Like, what?
Right? And I believe that.
And we don't use the word chicanery or tomfoolery that much. It's rare.
I use those words never. The fact that those words even got introduced in the conversation.
I like chicanery. And the fact that Ty had to do a little aside and tell people he doesn't use those words is like, we know it has over 2 syllables. We know you're not throwing it out.
So take that for what it's worth.
And irregular.
What is it worth? I never use tomfoolery or chicanery. So take that for what it's worth. It's like, what is that worth? Literally, what is it worth? Nothing. Not the digital film it took up to say. Like, I've never seen more of a I've done a lot of hours of podcasting, and I've never seen more about nothing. And Pedro does a lot of like I'm getting you. I got you. Nah, 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 nah. Ga. He does a lot of that stuff. And it's like, you need to recalibrate your body language with how well you're doing.
Quote unquote, for those who are listening on the podcast.
But he's also holding that mic, so it's moving around. He's like, he's got the mic down here, and he's using his hand for body. He's like, no, and another thing, but I told y'all. It's like, what? You're coming across like a loose nut. Never thought I'd miss the tour bus guy. There it is. What?
See me doing it. There are irregularities in every election, right? But over 60 cases were rejected by courts, including the Supreme Court. So whatever irregularities happened had nothing to do with the outcome of the election. So to speak that on this show, I'm gonna check that, and I don't feel I'm putting words in your mouth, Ty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just it. Like, I think I'm just cutting through the explanation.
Asking the question. Asking the
root answer.
Look at Ty's body language. He's so defeated here.
I understand your reaction.
That's how I do it.
I understand your reaction. Absolutely.
He's still, Pedro's still going off like, I'm sorry, but that's just how I do. And it's like, yeah, nobody cares how you do. like there's a lot of like attitude that comes with thinking you're winning an argument that is insane. Hey man, that's just how I do. Like, okay. The comedy tour bus guy who made eggs made much more sense. The think stop, dude. Well, I've heard like it's not like both of them haven't had points and been right or wrong. It's just like no one's winning this circle of retardation, and for either one of you to be proud of it is, bonkers level 9.
Absolutely insane reaction. And I know that's how you react on across the board. When it's just like, yo, don't do that to me. I'm standing up for what I fucking want to say, and that's it. I get it. What I wanted to ask you is, how did Shang end up the moderate one on this motherfucker?
Yeah,
and I'm the furthest thing from
what the fuck just happened?
Okay,
should I try to be on Savage AF?
You gotta admit, there's a lot of fucking weird shit, and he's done a lot of horrible shit. I want to know what the fuck is wrong with you to support them. You're a smart dude. To even vote for him twice, what did he do that you go, man, that was smart. Man, he's talented. Man, he works hard. What is?
Now this would be a real opportunity for like if you are an educated person or a Trump supporter or you just want to back up, Ty prides himself on being a very informed member of the electorate, and this would be an opportunity. Now, Shang, this is the first time I've heard him kind of sounding dumb. Because it's just like, why are you, like, this is insane, dude. Like, imagine having a guest on my podcast and being like, yeah, but why did you vote for him, man? You seem smart. Like, why? Just like, are you okay? Is everyone okay? People are acting like this is the first time there's ever been an election and people have different opinions. Like, it's pretty divided. From 40, 60-ish to 50, 50-ish all the time, pretty much, always, every election. You think you know something they don't know? You don't. Like, nah, man, but the choice is simple. It ain't. They're all corrupt bitches. You're all getting your asses eaten by these politicians. They're like, you being like, yeah, but you're smart. Why did you? Ugh. It's like, ugh. If I ever do that to someone on my show, please burp me like a baby.
What is it about Trump that made you go, you know what? He's a better candidate than anybody else.
But if you were a real Trump supporter, this should be an opportunity for him to knock it out of the park. We should hear a good answer to this. What made you support Trump? Here we go.
I just want to know. Now, I understand people hated Hillary. I don't understand why they hate Biden. Biden's like the old fuddy-duddy man that's in the fucking balcony on the Muppets. It's not like he's a...
So this is another thing people do, like, when they're in the middle of arguments or debates. Like, he's on his third point now. What is it that made you vote for Trump? Oh, come on, man. I thought you were smart. I get some people didn't like Hillary. I'll never understand why people didn't like Hillary. Some people don't like Biden. I think Biden's like harmless. Like the old, it's like we're on the 9th question. Like, do you have this is nonsense. It's just like, what do you get? Like, this is getting to the bottom of nothing. Quickly.
A mean person.
The 1994 crime bill, that was just a fuddy-duddy old man. Plagiarism, that's just a fuddy-duddy old man. Being creepy, which we've all seen.
Why is he so quiet now? Is somebody sleeping in the other room?
That's just a fuddy-duddy old man. Yeah, you're right, Shang. There's nothing at all to not like about Biden. He's just waiting for his jello.
What is it about Trump that you go, yeah, he's so talented. Forget the narcissism. He's so talented.
Well, that's you, again, projecting onto me. Like, you don't just ask me the question. You're like, he's so talented. Like, who said that?
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. You got a point. Let's see if he follows it up with any kind of good answer.
Did I say that? I didn't.
So why did you?
I've been quiet listening to you.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I'll answer that. What is it about him that is so fantastic that made you vote for him?
Well, see, even that is a dumb question.
Why did you vote for him?
Okay, I'm sorry. Why did you vote for him?
Well, there were several reasons I voted for him. And one of the biggest reasons that I voted for him is because people have always been so...
Now, at this point, I'm already flustered, and I'm trying to make these points that...
He must not have a good answer here if he's breaking in to tell us that it didn't go well. Look at this.
Like, are usually easy for me to just spit out, but I'm annoyed with both of them, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. And really, I'm thinking about just bailing because I'm done with both of them. I'm annoyed. I didn't come on. Like, that's not what I'm doing on your podcast. Just stop being dumb, both of you.
Like with Obama, you take Obama, I voted for him twice. And the thing was, because Obama said everything with a smile, they were actually able to get away with quite a few things. Like, that's where the cages came from. When people talk about Trump putting kids in cages, those cages were there.
Everybody knows.
From Obama. Like, that was Obama and Bronson.
They didn't have kids in them.
What's that?
It's the dumbest statement. Oh, yeah, Obama built the kid cages, but he didn't put kids in. It's like, what? You're both dumb.
They did have kids in them. They just had the kids with the families. And that's where the pictures came from. So people had a problem with the fact that the kids were being separated. So, or that's what it turns out people must have had the problem with, because if it was just cages in general, then they should have been mad back with Obama and Biden. But because people saw Obama with the smiling face and Obama, put a nice picture to everything, people were more distracted by that. And with Trump, people were willing to watch every single thing he did. And I feel like people should continue to do that.
Like,
that's why yesterday when
having
I was
these
Twitter,
arguments
and people were acting like, we can finally relax now, Biden is off. No, you can't relax. You should be watching him just as closely as you watch Trump. You should watch everybody that same way.
This is top shelf cringe.
That was a big part of why I voted for Trump. Because he made people
this
pay
is
attention.
just...
People were actually looking at things. You know how many people educated themselves on politics?
Also, just don't have conversations. You had this guy in California who walked outside, and his neighbor was out there, and his neighbor said, Black Lives Matter to his neighbor. And the neighbor said in return, all lives matter. Yelling out something to somebody just randomly, because you do, and especially in California, you assume everyone's on your side politically, right? So you're just yelling out to people on the streets, hey, Black Lives Matter, to your white neighbor. You're both white. Cringe, creep. And then the neighbor replied, all lives matter, because that's what they thought, And then the neighbor who said Black Lives Matter pulled out a gun and shot the All Lives Matter guy. And then he went inside and blew his own head off. It's like, this is the world we're living in now. So watch what you're saying to people. Watch what you're saying to neighbors. I wouldn't swap out my howdy neighbor or morning guy with Black Lives Matter. Shot his kid? You shot his kid too? Oh my God. Yeah, it's craziness. Like people are unhinged. And you know, it's a tertiary thing when these this is next level where it's like you're arguing. Like I can't imagine. Like after 2 rounds of this dope, I think either one of them, I'd just go like, all right, well, I mean, whatever. Like, here's the problem is like these guys Ty's the kind of guy, too, that'll like never like talk to this guy again. Like this will be it. Like this will never be squashed. This will never be good. This will never be nice. They can't be friends. Is this a hypothetical? You know, people have lost the ability to like disagree and get along. It's not a thing we're capable of doing anymore, and it's insane. It is what it is. Like, it's just where we're at as a society, but it's not healthy. It's like you guys should be able to agree on but it's so much deeper, you know. Like we've attached all this fucking weird identity politics shit to it, and you know, rights and individualism and morality and religion and all, and now on the other side of it, insurrection and you know, patriotism and all these questions about just like, you know, people posting like I'd say this to anybody who starts arguing with you, like, what makes Trump so great? And I would just go like, what did he do that upset you so much? And usually the answer when you ask somebody about why they don't like Trump, it's something to do with Twitter. And then if you boil that down and go like, oh, so you don't like people based on tweets? Like, they sound like an insane. Black Lives Matter is getting a Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, yeah, that's insane. All the articles, too, were the funniest thing because I'm scrolling through my news feed and, like, all the links to the Black Lives Matter nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, if you haven't heard. Not a joke. All the photos, thumbnails of the articles were, like, people lighting flags and police cars and buildings on fire. And it's like, what? Like in the article where they're telling you that it's nominated for a peace prize. Can I hate both Trump and Biden? I didn't like either fucking one of them. But you can't tell that to guys who are militant on either side because they're just like, but like, you got to vote to get Hitler out of office. Like they think, you know, like Trump's Hitler. This is how unhinged from reality these idiots are. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, all right, he's Hitler. So it's like you, everyone, whatever you're panicking about and you're anxious about and you're crazy about, you need to dial it back and breathe. Everything is fine. Nothing happened to you. You remember the people screaming in the streets when Trump got sworn in. It's like, and then he just went back to work for 4 years and nothing happened. The economy was pretty good and everything was kind of fine. Other than the fact that everyone was screaming about Trump everywhere nonstop. It's like, but if you didn't have Twitter or the news, you wouldn't have known who was president or that there was even a goddamn transition. Okay? And by the way, everybody is so high and mighty about kids in cages and Coney. Stop it. Stop it. Next time you go off on me about kids in cages, I need to know what you've done for kids in cages. And if you haven't done anything, then you don't give a fuck about them either. Kids in cages. They're putting kids in cages. They're taking them away from their dads. They were just playing catch in Juarez, and the orange cops went over there and grabbed them. They only shot a few innocent people that are cops on duty. Why not?
Politics because of Donald Trump and the stuff that he was doing.
He's exhausted because I'm not working with his narrative. So how is he supposed to do this when I'm not working with his narrative? So now he's taxing his little brain, trying to think of what he's supposed to say. When if he had just asked me who my ideal candidate would
That's a good point.
what I really want.
The best part about Biden being president is that you can criticize him without being called a Trump supporter. Right. It's like, and now everybody's kind of slowly waking up to, like, everybody went through this in the fucking, and I want to do a regular show and we'll get into a lot of this stuff too. We're just testing stuff and having a tie night. But a lot of this stuff is, you're starting to realize this happened with Obama too. This momentum and this savior complex gets built up around this guy. And it's like, it was the biggest joke when Obama was president. Like, people didn't know. Democrats even, like, man on the street when Jay Kimmel would go out on the street and do the man on the street and be like, hey, you know, who's the vice president? People didn't know Joe Biden. He was such a background figure to Obama. Obama was almost like Trump level status. If you don't remember this, like, you don't have a good memory. In 2008, Obama was savior-like. He was on the cover of everything. Everyone was talking about him nonstop. Twitter was brand new, so that wasn't, that big of a thing. But everyone, it was Obama, Obama, Obama. The cover of every magazine, the news cycle, everything. Obama, 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 Obama. Nothing about Biden. And the same thing with Trump. It's Trump, 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 Trump. And now Biden comes along, and it's like everyone's cheering about Biden. It's like, nobody knows this motherfucker. Like, stop. Like, that doesn't make sense. Thanks for the stub, Cruel Aid. So I find it weird when our short memories bite us in the ass. Like, everybody, like, people were, the adults are back in control, when Biden was sworn in and stuff. And it's like, man, I don't know. Like, how about all the fucking unions that voted for him? And how about Kamala Harris as late as November, I believe, tweet? Like, read my lips. Joe Biden will not ban fracking. Like, that's not going to happen. And then he did then there was the whole debate thing where he said the thing about oil. And he's like, no. He gets in there. What's happening? Banning fracking. Done with the pipeline, get a new job. This motherfucker literally said these guys can learn to program. There's no reason. If they can go down into the ground and pull out coal, they can learn to program. Spoken like someone who can't check their email. Like, I'm sorry. I don't think most 60, 50, 45-year-olds can learn how to write a fucking Excel script. Yeah, it's a fundamental. It's like teaching a 50-year-old a new language. I'm not saying it can't be done, and sure, there's a segment of the population that can learn it. But you're seeing this guy do everything he said he wouldn't do, and by the way, nobody has any shit to say about it. Nobody has anything to say about it. Who's the Health and Human Services Director? She looks exactly like that long-haired gray doctor Trump had. Who's the Janet Yellen? Like, get the fuck out of here with that. You seeing what's happening with Janet Yellen already? Pay attention. Oh, you were too busy posting emojis about how the adults are back in control. You're all out of your minds. Like, they're all crooked as fuck, and you're not any better off. Like, so, great days are here again. Like, stop that shit. You're all out of your fucking minds. When Obama got elected, he said, I won, deal with it. Think if Trump had said that when he was elected, it would have been a full civil war. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird fucking times, and you see, who's the guy he just picked for Mr. Monsanto? over there for the Trump did say that. Yeah, that's probably true. You're just seeing it. You're seeing what it is. Like, he's in power now, and they're just like, have you heard anything about Black Lives Matter, really? Like, the news cycle's done with Black Lives Matter. Like, it's really gone away. It was every night, the riots and the fires in the streets. It's gone. They don't care anymore. They got what they needed from you all, you know. It just like, you just got to wake up, man. Like, none of them are on your side. And look, I have no problem with somebody liking Biden over Trump. Like, there's two fucking things on the menu, you know, steak or the fish. And both of them are microwaves, so neither one of them's going to be very fucking good. So I don't have a fucking problem. AOC fills me up a little in the front. Gross. She's one of the dumbest people I think I've ever seen open her mouth on the reg. Like, talk about... She looks like Violet Beauregard from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Just coming in, not knowing how anything works. And, like, adults have to keep, like, telling her, like, no, that's not how this works. And then she's like, don't mansplain. It's like, okay. Everyone hates her. No one sits with her at the lunch table. I've seen it.
See happen, I would have easily told him that really Tulsi seemed exciting to me. Tulsi Gabbard seemed exciting to me. But the fact that they didn't give her a chance is the reason that I was like, okay, well then I'll go with Trump, because they put us in that position again where it's like, okay, then you can either vote for Biden or you're racist. And I was like, I'm not going for that. I'm not just going to vote for Biden because you say that if I don't, then now I'm racist. That's not the way this is going to work. This is what they try to do to us with Hillary too. Bernie at that time, I personally had no intentions of voting for Bernie. At that point in the last election in 2016, I was pretty well just set on.
I will, you know,
that's what it was. But Bernie might have been
people too. Like, I think I don't know what it is, to tell you the truth. I don't know if it's that we're. I think we don't understand definitions of things, too. Like, if that makes sense. People, like, constant narrative and chirping and articles and tweets about Trump being racist and Trump being racist and Trump being racist. Like, and you would ask people to point to one piece of legislation or an executive order that is by definition, like, we have a very concrete definition of racist. So by definition, racist. And people can't really do it. You'll find things about DACA or when he was closing the borders to the Muslim countries. And it's just like, well, I mean, if you look at what was happening during that time, first of all, the system worked because, you know, federal judges shut that shit down pretty quick. But in the legislation, it wasn't, there was nothing in the legislation about race. Like, in the actual legislation, there's nothing about race. Yeah, we want to prevent some travel from certain countries right now because there's an increased level of chatter and activity. The same way we do for coronavirus, shutting down, you know, travel bans on certain countries based on the strain of the virus spreading and da-da-da-da-da. The same we did with China and Europe, and are still enforcing special travel bans and restrictions for certain countries and continents right now. And no one would call that racist. But because the countries had a religion, so we also, like, really blur the lines of religion and race constantly. But you, like, on the flip side, you look at some of the statements and the initiatives done by Biden. Like, motherfucker has literally said, we're going to prioritize black and minority-owned small businesses over white. It's just like, that's the definition of racism. You understand? Like, affirmative action at its core is by definition systematic racism. It's a system put in place to bias an outcome based on race by design, on purpose. We've all just spent 4 years screaming about racism and inequality, and we're about to fix that with inequality and racism. And everyone I know is on the sidelines going, out of your gourds. We're kicking people that were, and this is all stuff we'll get into on another show, but like, literally, I've never seen such hypocrisy, like saying something, doing the opposite. And it's happening, and you're all just sitting there clapping and watching it. It's pretty amazing to watch.
Been able to excite me if he had gotten a chance, but he didn't get a chance. He had it stolen from him by the DNC. And then that made me even more firm in like, okay, well, if the DNC can't even play fair with their own side, then I don't want to go with whoever their selection is. And their selection was Hillary, which in my opinion was a horrible, horrible choice. And so I was like, yeah, I don't want Hillary. So that's what it is. You're not going to bully me or force me into voting for the person that you want me to vote for.
There's a lot of
I mean, you know, that's like going around and kicking people in the balls to be like, now you pay attention to your balls, don't you? I mean, it's like you could just introduce people to a cup.
Yeah, if you're dumb, you see it that way. Yeah, if you're dumb, completely, 100%.
Yeah.
That was a bad analogy. So gloves are off. I think you're dumb. There, let's get it all out on the table because I think you're dumb. And now I'm done playing with you. I'm done trying to explain. Now I am here to hurt your feelings.
Okay.
It's a good thing your podcast slogan is fuck your feelings because there's nobody more fuck your feelings than I am. I'll tell you that. I'm a real fuck your feelings motherfucker.
Yeah.
I think this is a good point for a break. What do you say? Shall we? If you're enjoying this, thank you so much for watching. We're going to take a little break here. I would like to finish this with you guys tonight. I don't know what you've got going on. I know it's late. It's 9:30 p.m., especially if you're over there on the East Coast. You probably got to turn in. I can't promise that I will make it to the end just because of how the fucking world works. But we're 34 minutes into a 2-hour and 15-minute nightmare, okay? I'd like to finish it with you. Maybe we'll go to Overdosed. Did they come out with a podcast covering them? Let's find it. Let's look into it. So yeah, let's take a little break. We'll reset. We'll regroup. We'll come back. I think this is where it flips. It's about to get real weird. On and in here. He starts, I'll just tease it like this. He turns into like, you saw him. He's like, I'm about to let go. I'm about to flip and unleash shit. And you're about to get what's what. He thinks that he starts getting them. And he comes back to his little podcast that he's doing now, you know, as he's watching as well. And going like, see, I got him. Like he gets real cocky and fired up, and he's like, I just put them in their place, and they're like, he's like, I shut him down and done it, like, which is again why he did this, I think. But that's not what's happening. If you thought it was cringe so far, you haven't seen anything yet. Stay tuned. Let's take a break. Let's get a drink. Let's go to the bathroom. I haven't eaten anything today. I'm gonna grab a little food. We'll bring it up here today. I said I haven't eaten anything today. That's not true at all. But I am fucking hungry. I'm going to go get some food and bring it up. Just a little snack, you know, some peanuts or some cheese crumbles. Blue cheese. I like to just crumble blue cheese. I put it, you ever take blue cheese and just put it in your bottom lip like dip? So we'll do that when we come back. Just for Overdose, we'll dive into the rest of this. If you're not in the Overdose, join. We got the studio back up and running, and as soon as I get some more equipment, we will be back full-time in the regular swing of things, and there's a good time to join the Overdose now. Haven't raised the price yet because I haven't been doing shows, but that price within the month will be going up from $10 a month to $13 a month. Right now it is $100 for a year, and that will be going up as well, the annual price. Lock it in now. The deals are good. NobodyLikesOnions.com/overdose. Follow us on Twitter, NLO, Instagram, NL Onions, and Parler. I think we're on Parler too. It's been down. I don't know. I keep refreshing it. And we're on Clubhouse and the Stereo app. Check us out on all the apps. We'll be right back. When we come back, hold on. Gonna buy that master box now? You can't. You think you can, but you can't. Wait till you get to the checkout. Yeah, in the store there will be a mystery box where I'm blowing out a lot of shit. Maybe you can buy it. I don't know. NobodyLikesOnions.com/store. New stuff coming for the spring very soon. So there's very few items up there now. Most of the stuff you can't get anymore. And I think that's it. We'll cover that for now. Thank you guys so much for the subs, the donations. You guys have been fucking awesome. Just throwing money at me tonight, which has been great. And it's all going to Dogecoin. Did I mention that? It's all going to Doge tonight. That's how we're going to make it work. All right, we'll be back in a few. Sit tight, reset, get a bong, wear a thong. Okay?